How's it going, YouTube? It's FuzzyXYZ here. Now today I'm going to bring you a deck profile. This is a Prophecy build. This is different, obviously, because it is Reaper Prophecy. Very different to my usual High Priestess version. I like the Reaper version. It is very fun. I built it on DN over the last couple of weeks. It is a very fun build. I don't think it is very competitive due to the fact that Evil Swarm absolutely wreck this deck, to be honest. Especially this version, there's not many ways that this can obviously get over an Ophion. But I just like to play this variant when I'm chilling out with my mates and stuff like that, during like rounds of tournaments and that with my teammates. And like I said, just on DN when I'm kind of just casually playing, I'm sick of testing and stuff like that, so I just want to have a little bit of fun. So like I said, this is my Reaper Turbo build. This is a lot different to a lot of other Reaper variants that you'll see on YouTube. I think this is like one of the first ones using the cards in this deck, but I'll explain more when I obviously get into it. So let's go into the deck profile now. So obviously the main boss monster of the deck is Reaper Prophecy. Now its effect is when it is normal or special summoned, you can activate each of its effects depending on how many spellbooks are in your graveyard with different names. So if you have 3 or more with different names, it gains 600, so it goes up to 2/6. If you have 4 or more, then it goes up to 2/6, and then you can add a spellbook from your deck to your hand. And if you have 5 or more, then you can obviously use the previous effects, and then you can special summon a level 5 or higher dark spellcaster from your deck. So normally you'll obviously might get another copy of itself, or you can get the next card, which is Prophecy Destroyer. The best bit about this is that once you use Reaper's effect to get Prophecy Destroyer, if they trench or anything like that, then obviously you already have the 5 spellbooks in your graveyard, so you can banish 3 and then special summon Destroyer back. This is really good late game. I've found, especially when your graveyard is pre-packed with spellbooks, so you can obviously just banish him and then push the game with this. It's absolutely amazing. The next card is Fool of Prophecy. Basically this is a foolish burial for Prophecy. Once per turn, obviously you send a spellbook from your deck to your graveyard, and if you have activated this effect this turn and you have 5 or more spellbooks with different names in your graveyard, then you can tribute it off to special summon a Reaper Prophecy, and then obviously you have your 5 spellbooks and you get all the Reaper's effects. The next card, sticking with the Prophecy monsters, is 2 Spell Magician. I've cut this down obviously from 3, which I play in my Priestess version. The reason being, you basically only use this card to start off your spell books, getting them into grave. So basically you'll probably normal summon this, get secrets into masters, and then carry on from there, start looping them around to try and get them, obviously them pluses into your hand, and obviously try and get more spell books with different names in your graveyard. The next card is 2 Lila. Lila kind of replaces the breakers in this deck. They more or less do the exact same thing, except this has 200 less attack, obviously when break has the counter, obviously it has 100 more when once break has popped. The only difference is that during the end phase, obviously this card mills, which is what basically this deck revolves around. You want to mill the cards from your deck, obviously try and get them spellbooks from your deck into your graveyard as quickly as possible, so then obviously you can get Reaper Prophecy's effect. The next card is 2 Effect Veiler. The best thing about Effect Veiler in this deck is that it has a lot more use in this deck than I think than the Priestess version. The reason being is because you can continuously bring back your Prophecy Destroyer from your graveyard just by banishing 3. You can kind of normal summon this and then synchro into more or less any level 7. So normally you can probably go into an Arcanite Magician, pop all the cards on the field, and then again you can bring back the Prophecy Destroyer, which is absolutely amazing. The next card is BLS. BLS is just basically another boss monster in the deck. You run a sufficient amount of lights and darks, and this is like more or less live all the time, especially late game. I prefer this over Chaos Sorcerer, just to the fact that it's a bigger body and people hate BLS. And then the final cards, now this is kind of where the deck gets really interesting and really crazy, to be honest. Now, I'll explain it just before I actually show you the cards. The reason being is I've thought of numerous ways that you can normal or special summon Reaper of Prophecy. Obviously, that's your main boss monster. Now, I kind of got this idea from a Hazy Flame deck profile that I saw when they were first released. So the next card is 3 Hieratic Dragon of Tefnuits. Now, the reason by this is, obviously, if your opponent controls a monster, then you can straight away special this card from your hand. That already gives you a monster on the field that you contribute away for Reaper of Prophecy. Now, the best bit about it is if I just put these to one side. If you have these 2 cards in your hand, then what you can do is, let me just get the cards out. There we go. So what you can basically do is special summon this card from your hand. You then tribute it off to normal summon the Reaper of Prophecy. Now, due to the fact that Tefnuit was tributed away, then you get to special summon the Wattail Dragon, which is the final monster of the deck, from your hand deck or graveyard. And then due to the fact that you will probably have 5 or more spellbooks in your graveyard, you then get to special summon the Prophecy Destroyer as well. So already you've gone from a 1 card on the field to more or less having 3, which is absolutely amazing. The best bit about it as well is that the Tefnuits and the Wattail kind of sync with the Reaper and Destroyers due to the fact they're all level 6. So obviously your extra deck mainly revolves around these cards, obviously because they're rank 6s. Also, just as a quick demonstration, you can actually OTK. Basically, if you have the Tefnuit and Reaper in hand, then you can special summon the Tefnuit, obviously tribute off like I said, get the Reaper. Obviously you get the Wattail and you also get the Destroyer. Remember, this is on 2/6. Now with this you add Spellbook of Power to your hand. You overlay these 2, let's move these here, into Insect Exobeetle. Obviously you can equip the Tefnuit that's in your grave. You activate Exobeetle's effect to obviously detach. And you pop a card on the field. And then you overlay again into Gaia Charger, and due to the fact that you'll have 5 spellbooks engraved, you then bring back your Prophecy Destroyer, and the power that you obviously searched off Reaper, if you add that to that, that is 2/5, 3/5, maths is hard. It is more or less over 9,000 damage with just 2 cards, due to the fact that the pluses off each card is absolutely amazing. I've actually got this off a couple of times. Remember, Gaia Charger actually does piercing as well. Also, due to the fact that this has, or this, to be honest, has Spellbook of the Power, if you attack over, then you get to search like a card such as Spellbook of Fate. So if they maybe drop a Trag or a Gauze or something like that, then you can actually activate the Fate that you've just searched off of Power. And banish that card and still continue with the game. So that is absolutely amazing. It's like a little kind of OTK that I actually created, which is why I like to play obviously the Tefnuits and the Wattails. Yes, I do agree that sometimes they can be pretty dead in hand, especially the Wattails. Which is kind of like where the spells come into it, to be honest, and a little bit of the trap. And like I said at the beginning of the deck profile, this is why Ophion absolutely kills this deck, because you do obviously special summon level 5 or higher monsters. But like I said, this is just for fun, basic, like I said. So onto the spells, you play 1 Grand Spellbook Tower. The reason being is that 2 is kind of far too much. You actually don't want to be putting your spellbooks back into deck. Sorry. This also like another name for Reaper and for Fool. But if you are struggling with hand advantage, then you can just activate this and just same as usual, get your pluses off 2 per turn. You then play more or less the exact same lineup as what you do in the Priestess version. You play the 2 Master, the 3 Secrets, the 2 Fate. Only 1 Spellbook of Life, due to the fact that 2 is very cloggy in this deck. You can also recycle it by banishing Fate. Banishing it with Fate, and in this version we actually play 2 Eternity, due to the fact that you do banish a lot of spellbooks, like I said, with Fate and with Prophecy Destroyer as well, so 2 Eternity is more or less essential. First turn, like obviously you might not have no spellbooks banished or something, so you can just like use Fool's Effect to like a picture like a dead one of these from your deck to your grave. So it does have its purposes, but obviously, like I said, you do banish a lot. 2 Wisdom, to be honest, I couldn't find room for the 3rd. If I would, I'd probably play it. It's due to the fact that I just absolutely love Wisdom, but I only play 2 in this variant. I play 1 Star Hole. A lot of the times you'll probably pitch this with full and put it to your grave. If you do obviously have this activated on the field, then that's absolutely amazing. Obviously you do your spellbook combos, and that means that your Reaper Prophecies and everything like that will be like probably over 3,000 if you have a Star Hole on the field. But I generally just put this in so you can activate Fool's Effect. To be honest, I could actually possibly take this out if I wanted to. And the final 2 spellbooks is Spellbook of the Power. Obvious, basically, it's power, it gains 1,000 and it's surged when it's destroyed. The next cards are Holstorm Reborn. Obviously you play the Holy Trinity. The next card is Hieratic Seal of Convocation. Due to the fact that if you obviously want to get that OTK off, you can basically activate this and get that free search. This like deck kind of does get a little bit more powerful when Judgment Day comes out, obviously because the Hieratic Seal will count as one of the spells towards Judgment Day, so that is pretty cool. And the next 2 cards, I'm sorry, but I don't have these because they haven't come off eBay yet. They haven't been delivered, but I wanted to do this deck profile ASAP. The final 2 spells is Reasoning. Reasoning is an amazing card because it mills your spellbooks, and if you manage to activate Reasoning, mill at least 5 or something spellbooks, and then special summon the Reaper, then you can just get your pluses off, and it's just basically another way to OTK. And the final cards are the Traps, which is 3 Threatening Roar. Basically you can like normal summon a Magician or something, get the searches off, and then you can set the Threatening Roar. When your opponent obviously wants to attack, you stop the attack, and next turn you just tribute off the Magician or even like a Lila that's in defense, something for the Reaper, so that's absolutely amazing. Let's put these to one side and quickly just onto the extra deck. Basically you kind of like take out the Big Eye and some of the synchros from the Priestess version and put in rank 6 and rank 7s again. So the rank 6s are Throne Strike Bouncer and Exobeetle. I kind of wanted to put a Force Focus in here. Unfortunately I don't have a Force Focus, but I'd probably take out one of the synchros or something for a Force Focus, just due to the fact that it's another rank 6 that you can go into. The next card is Gaia Charger. Obviously, like I said in the OTK earlier in the video, you basically activate Exobeetle's effect, pop in a card on the field, and then just ride over it. I think I'm playing Vanguard. And then, like, basically, you have your rank 4s, obviously, because you have your Lilas. You have your Zen Mains and Tempo because you have your Fools of Prophecy. You have your Daggerstone Phoenix, Gachi and Shining Elf because you do play the Spell Magicians of this deck. The Synchros are Scrap Dragon, Arcanite and Black Rose. Now the level 7 Synchros, like I said earlier, are very sufficient in this deck. Like I said, obviously most of your monsters in the deck are level 6s, so if you like maybe special summon a Tefnut and normal summon a Baylor, then obviously you can synchro into these. Tempest Mission, you don't really get this off a lot, but it's there just as a level 6 just in case. And the final card is Catasta. Obviously you have the Baylors and the Lilas. So that is basically it for this deck profile. Like I said, it's really interesting build. It has won me actually some games. You'd be surprised how actually consistent it is. The only thing that has like problems with this deck is if you open like a lot of Reapers and Destroyers in hand, and you obviously can't get rid of them. I just thought about playing Card Destruction just for that one reason. If you actually have them dead in hand, then obviously you can kind of like reset your hand and also put them to grave as well. And then basically other than that, it's just decks that shut down special summoning, such as maybe a Shotmaster. Like I said multiple times in this video, Ophion absolutely kills this deck, but to be honest I don't think I would actually run this in a tournament, only if it was probably a low level locals that you might be able to actually do pretty well with this in. Other than that, like I say, it's just basically fun purposes. just to chill out from the obviously powerful Priestess version, which, don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love. It's just nice to have a change here and now and then, so you don't actually get bored with the deck. Other than that, guys, please comment below on this video. I will take your comments into consideration, etc, etc. Obviously, it's a very interesting deck profile. If you want to ask me some more questions on that, then feel free to PM me or add me on Facebook at this, that and the other. Like I said, comment below, please subscribe as well, and see you later, YouTube.